Hi, I'm Alex Anders, and this is Bisexual Real Talk. Is your crush bi curi-ish? What is that? And what do you do about it? That's what I'm going to be talking about today. As soon as I mention a couple of things, one of which is if you are one of the first people to watch and listen to this podcast and watch this video, there are going to be links in the description below to promo codes to my latest audiobook on Amazon, Island Candy by MMF Bisexual Romance. With those coupons, those individual coupon codes, you can go and redeem that for a free copy of that book on Audible. It's completely free, and the great thing is if you redeem it, I get paid for it. There's probably a few UK left and very few US, if any. So if you're in the UK, you probably want to double check to see if the coupon codes are still there and check it out. But I will also be playing the audiobook sample for Island Candy MMF Bisexual Romance at the end of the video, so you can stick around for that. Also, it's holiday time, so if you'd like one of my bisexual t-shirts or my newly designed Power Bi t-shirt, which hasn't arrived yet, and I'm so looking forward to it, or one of my latest design, which is the Bi Flag stripe, which comes in the leggings and also in sweatshirts and t-shirts and stuff. If you like one of those things, you can get it for 15% off using the promo code HOLIDAY15 at Teespring. But more about that stuff at the end of the video. Until then, let's get to this really important topic of bi curi-ish, because if that is what your crush is, you need to know about that now. So what is bi curi-ish? Well, tell me if this sounds familiar. Have you ever had somebody who has said to you that they are not interested in your gender, and yet you feel like a ton of energy coming your way? Like so much so that you're like, man, this person has to be into me, or this person has to be bisexual. And yet you kind of believe them when they tell you that they aren't interested in anyone touching their fun bits. What is that? That has happened to me so many times that I've decided that it needs a name. These are one of the words that our bisexual community has been negligent in creating. That is bi curi-ish. So bisexual is when someone has accepted the fact that they are attracted to multiple genders, whether it's romantically or sexually. Bi-curious is when a person is actively interested in exploring something with someone of the same gender, multiple genders. That's bi-curious. Bi-curi-ish is when a person has no interest in anything going on with their fun bits, nothing sexual, and yet they have this clear attraction to you in some other way. Yeah, let me tell you a couple of stories that kind of demonstrates what this is. So a couple of years ago, I was friends with this dude, and I was attracted to him, but I wasn't sexually attracted to him. But I kept on feeling like there was a bunch of energy coming his way, like from him to me. One day we went to this theme park with these two girls, and we went back to his place, and the two girls go upstairs to change. And we're talking in the kitchen just about random stuff, nothing interesting, just stuff. And we're both standing there, and the conversation hits a lull, and we're both kind of looking at each other. And he looks at me and says, and that was the night that they kissed. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Where did that come from? Oh, okay. Like I just kind of like asked him, what was that? And he just kind of like, oh, nothing. And he just like went on. And then I think he went upstairs and changed or something. I was like, wow, that was kind of odd. Another time we're at a swimming pool, at a friend's pool, and I had put my phone in his towel. And I went up to take a shower, and everyone's leaving, so he goes up to meet me. And we're alone in like a little hallway. We kind of run into each other. He says, oh, by the way, I have something in my pants for you. And I look down, it's my phone. I'm like, what type of heterosexual thinks of things like that? That's not something a heterosexual does. And then like a third time, we are playing a sport. We're playing touch rugby. We're on the field. We're all like, the entire team is like lined up in a row. He's a couple people over from me. Throughout the next like couple of moves, like after the game starts, he works his way across the field over to me to say, hey, that color looks really great on you. I think you should wear that color more, referring to my shirt. And I'm just like, thank you. And then I catch a ball and then run it down the field. It's just like, really? You crossed the field to tell me how good I look in my shirt. And yet at one point, something happened. I just had to ask him, are you bisexual? And he said, no. I said, are you pansexual? He's like, no. I'm like, you know what? I kind of believe him. But yet, there's this energy that he just keeps piling my way. And I could never have explained it. I could never have explained it. There was another dude who we were friends, and he would always invite me to sleep over, like on a separate bed, but he would invite me to sleep over. And he would invite me to like join him in this little tiny steam room. And one night we're by his place and he lights the fireplace. And I'm like, why are you lighting the fireplace? We're in Los Angeles. He's like, I think it'd be nice. And then he like makes some drinks and we're sitting in front of the fireplace talking. I'm like, wow, this has got to be the most romantic setting I have ever seen. And he set this up. And yet at one point I said to him, dude, are you attracted to me? He's like, no, I'm sorry. I'm not attracted to any guys in that way. And I'm like, but all those things. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, okay. That needs a name. And those aren't even the only times it's happened to me. So that needs a name. That name is not bicurious because they're not actively interested in something happening. They're not bisexual because they're not interested in anyone touching their fun bits. But yet, they put out all of this energy. And it's sincere energy. And yet, they are sincerely not interested in anything happening between you all. Bicurious. That's what it is. Does that sound familiar to you? Has that happened to you? And isn't it great there's finally a word for it? Okay, so why is this happening? This is happening for actually a really reasonable reason if you stop and think about it. These people aren't interested in anything sexual happening between you because they are genuinely either homosexual or heterosexual. But they are definitely interested in something romantically happening. These people are bi-romantic and yet heterosexual or homosexual. That's what's going on here. That explains everything. So the question is, what are you supposed to do about it? Now, this is the tough part. Yes, they are very much interested in your energy, in being around you. They might even be interested in hugging you or like maybe even as far as like laying in your arms or something. But it'll never go past that. And it's not like, okay, well, you just need to give it more time or you just need to like, allow him to come to or her to come to like grips with whatever it is. No, it will never happen. It's the equivalent of you and someone, let's say, 40 years older than you. What's the odds of anything ever happening between you and someone 40 years older? Why? I mean, you might think that they're a great person, but you just aren't turned on by them. That's the same thing that's happening with them and you. Yeah, they really want something romantic between you and them in some form, but they see you sexually as you see someone who is 40 years older than you. So you have to ask yourself, are you willing to have a relationship with this person that will never turn sexual? Will whatever it is, that energy that you two share, continue to be enough? And if it isn't, then you really can't be in a relationship with this person. You can't just be friends if they want to have romantic connections to you and you feel like it is too much to only have romantic and not have sexual with all that energy they're putting off, then you kind of have to break it off. But ultimately, you have to accept that no matter what, nothing sexual is going to happen to you with you and them. That's the difference between bicurious and bicurious and bisexual. Was that helpful? And again, has this happened to you? Could you, now that I have explained it, say, like, you know of these people, like this person, that person, who you know now was bi curi-ish? Does that explain so much to your past experiences with, I don't know, perhaps people of the same gender? And it doesn't matter what the person's like claims to be straight or gay. If they have that energy and yet not that sexual energy, bi curi-ish. That's it. If you'd like that, and if you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by supporting me on Patreon. You can check out my cool bi merchandise on Teespring or on Amazon with that promo code HOLIDAY15 where you get 15% off. And a couple of things I suggest. The Powered Bi shirt is going to be very popular. It's popular already. Lots of people interested, lots of people purchasing it. And also, I can't wait to rock it because I feel like it's the perfect expression of bisexuality, where it's like, it's not huge, it's not small. It says the word bi as opposed to just saying the flag, which is, yeah, the flag is great, but only certain people know what the flag is. Where the word, if it's written, the word bi is written there, everyone knows that it is. And I know I'm gonna get so many compliments from it. I can't wait to get it. I am so disappointed I have not received it yet. But if you order from Teespring, you will still get your purchases before Christmas. I think you can still use, depending on, go and check, but I think you can still get it using standard shipping. But you can get 15% off with the coupon code Hollywood15, Holiday15. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, you can check out my audiobooks. The latest one on Amazon and Audible, as well as everywhere else audiobooks are sold, is Island Candy MMF Bisexual Romance. It's funny. It's sweet. It'll make you angry at some of the characters. It will make you, it might make you tear up once or twice. It's a story that bisexuals can relate to, and at the same time, it's very, very sexy. And also, the sample will be being played right after the end of the video. So if you'd like to support the channel, those are the ways you can do it. And you know what? I think I'm going to do one more video before the end of this year. Probably next week, and I think I know what the topic is. So check back next week for that video. And until next time, stay cooler, my bisexual friends. Stay cooler. Bye. And now a sample of Island Candy, an MMF bisexual romance by me, Alex Anders. Joanna exited the canopy of trees and stepped out onto the beach. Though it was winter, it was 80 degrees outside and perfectly sunny. This truly was a magical place touched by the gods. Finding a spot only a few feet from the splashing shoreline, she laid out her towel, set her book on the side, and stretched out beside it. Allowing the warmth to seduce her, she gave a thought to what she really should be doing. This wasn't supposed to be a vacation, no matter how much she needed one. She really should be looking for a job and a place to live. She only had a couple $100, and that was supposed to last her a few weeks. After she paid first and last month's rent, she would barely have enough for food. But that was all stuff that future Joanna had to worry about. This was present Joanna, and present Joanna needed her time in the sun. When 5 minutes passed, she turned over. 10 minutes after that, she got up, unwrapped her sarong, and then headed to the water. As calm and placid as the beach usually was, it wasn't quite that today. Certainly it wasn't anything that Joanna would have to worry about. It was still quite pleasant, but she would have to stand on guard that nothing surprised her from behind. Bobbing up and down, she could stay in rhythm with the waves, and as long as she stayed away from where the waves crested, there was no risk of embarrassment. Wading into the waist-deep water, she looked down at her feet. They were both visible. In fact, the water was so clear that she could spot small fish swimming past her leg. She wondered if she should be nervous about that, but she decided that she could take them in a fight if she had to. She was a lot tougher than many people would have guessed, and certainly a palm-sized fish would rue the day it messed with her. As Joanna considered all the fish that she could fight if she had to, her attention was drawn to the yoga center as the gong indicated the end of class. This was her chance to see if the gorgeous guy was staying at the yoga center or if he was from the mainland. The only way into the yoga center with luggage was by boat, but if you wanted to get there on foot, you had to enter via the beach. That path was steps away from where Joanna laid her towel. Keeping her eyes locked on the path, Joanna bounced in the water. Not noticing the waves getting higher on her body, she suddenly spotted him. Still without his shirt on, he stepped onto the beach about to turn right towards the Paradise Island main resort. Joanna wondered if she should try to get his attention. It wasn't just that he was gorgeous, though he was definitely incredibly hot. He could be a good contact for her. Who better to ask about the local real estate and job market than someone from the island? Finding her courage, Joanna raised her hand and waved. He was passing her quickly and didn't see her. Should I try to call to him? She asked herself. Why the hell not? Excuse me? Joanna beckoned, hoping that she hadn't yelled too loudly. It worked. The gorgeous man stopped and looked at her. Even at this distance, Joanna was mesmerized by his gaze. He had to be the most beautiful man she had ever seen. A smile crept across her face, and she took a step forward out of the water just as, out of nowhere, a wave crested over her head and whipped her off of her feet. In one moment, she had been successfully flirting with a gorgeous guy. In the next, she was breathing in water and tumbling unaware of which way was up. This had to be what it felt like to be in a washing machine, she decided. And not sure if she would ever find the surface again, one of her hands touched the sand. Moments later, she was deposited 6 feet up the beach near the spot where her towel once laid. Coughing up water, Joanna opened her eyes. Are you all right? The man asked, kneeling over her. Still coughing, it took a moment for her to get her bearing. When she did, she recognized who it was. It was the gorgeous man. He had just watched her nosedive into a wave and get deposited onto the beach like a whale. That could have been the most embarrassing thing that had ever happened to Joanna. That could have been, but it wasn't. Miss, are you all right? The man asked again. Catching her breath, Joanna looked up into his face. His eyes really were mesmerizing. She laid staring at him, wondering whether or not he might give her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. When he didn't make the move towards her lips, she instead decided to answer his question. Was she all right? She wondered. Checking in with her feet and then her legs, she felt fine. Moving up, she felt as though her tummy had been scratched, but it wasn't bad enough to break the skin. Realizing that she hadn't lost a finger or hand, she was about to declare herself fit for duty when she noticed something missing. Where the hell was her bikini top? Because it sure as hell wasn't covering her breasts. You've been listening to a sample of Island Candy. You can get the full audiobook at Audible, Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, Nook Audiobooks, Kobo, and most places audiobooks are sold. But if you'd like to start out with the prequel to this story, you can get it for free by joining the 4,000 others who have signed up for my newsletter. With my newsletter, you'll find out about my new releases as well as being kept up to date with whatever cool projects I have going on. Both links are in the description below. Please check it out and enjoy.